and I say it the way it is. President Uhuru should dissolve the government as constituted president. He should dissolve the cabinet. Because that cabinet has got elements of those who are reading from a different script. Now a religion is going to give you uniforms. When you are Black Stars from Kampala, it's not going to give you a red shirt or a green shirt. It must be one uniform. But in President Uhuru Kenyatta's cabinet, there are players from all sorts of teams. So it makes the government dysfunctional. He should even reorganize and restructure the public service so that he can achieve the objectives which can be summarized now in the Big Four agenda. And it's got pretty a short time, less than 24 months. He has got only 2 budgets now remaining. And this is the time for him to reorganize this government, to restructure this government. I'm just giving advice. I'm not inside that government, but I'm just trying to give advice. And I know that I am not saying this for the sake of it. I'm not playing politics. But for this country to move and for him to make a difference in 2 years, he needs to reorganize the government. And you can see when he decided that Kisumu Port should be reorganized, renovated, and upgraded in terms of the infrastructure, you can see what has happened in a very short period of time. We have seen how you can decide to build a stadium. Like now they're doing the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Kisumu, and for that we are very grateful. He could do it within a space of 4 or 5 months. Now Ruto is not talking about the stadium they promised the people. They said they were going to have in each county a stadium of national standards. Instead of a stadium, you are being given a wheelbarrow. Instead of that, you are being given a wheelbarrow. So I'm sorry, I've used Kambare to say what is in my heart. And sports as a whole is a very, very important human undertaking. And it has a history. The Greeks were engaged in sports more than 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. And the spirit of the Olympics, which now includes football, started with the Greeks so many years ago. The Romans, the great Roman Empire, those who go to Rome, there's a great Coliseum where they used to play games, play drama, and it is that rich history that we are a living example of trying to emulate. Our own communities also practice sports of many sorts. I feel also that even football is not very foreign or alien to our community. Otherwise, there are very few African languages which has got a word for football. But in the law, you know, Adula. If you ask in any other language what they call football, in pure, dialect or language of that community, they will not tell you. So football is love, and football is a great enterprise worldwide. The budget for FIFA is larger than the budget of many countries in the world. Just football. I'm not talking about sports as a whole, but just football. Just that component. And therefore, I would only give words of encouragement. And the former councillor, she's been given as an example. Very proud of what you did and you're doing for football. And my sister here, when she talks about football, I thought she was not a FIFA official that is from CIA. I thought she was coming from Geneva. She knows a lot about football and the rules. So this is a great event. Now, and totally brought their country down. And in East Africa, we got examples in Uganda, in Burundi, in Rwanda, in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We have even a failed state called Somalia, which everybody now is trying to bring back together to what it should be. So this such and constant desire to acquire political power, I urge the people of this country to be very careful, very, very careful, extremely careful. When Hitler got to be the president, the leader of Germany, the same tactics which are being used now of how to hoodwink the young people, how to militarize the young people, to create a movement out of problems. Because it was at the end of the First World War that fascism rose in Europe. So I repeat that we should be very careful. We should be extremely careful. And in this age, I was reading about Korea. South Korea was a very poor country. They had leaders, they had dictators who were talking this same language, that if I go somewhere, give you money, give you little equipment here and there, then that would be enough to sustain you in power. Korea went through a process where they decided, what do we do to change the status of our country? And they had an agenda where they said two principles only: democratization and industrialization. And when they started industrialization, they started with little things like textiles, like small industries, even for producing wigs, and ended unemployment because of a vision. And when they were succeeding in industrialization, within 4 years, they were now one of the largest producers of steel in the world. So when they finished, they now said, we want trade and technology. If you want technology and innovation, you must invest in education. Democratization, then we must achieve innovation, technology, and industrialization. Then we can move ahead. Lakini watu wanakutana barabara ati hasla nini. You know, you will never build a nation by taking them back. Take them back. In Europe, it was not the stagecoach, it was the steam engine. And then from the steam engine, they went to, by leaps and bounds, and starting to have jet engines. And now, Kenyans slowly, when you go to even a center here, like even Kambari, people are using technology now to communicate. To communicate, even in the market. And somebody is trying to take you back to a stage where we are going back to where we were at the beginning. So I hope, just like the Koreans decided that Kenya should remain a democratic nation, we should never go back. And I urge those in leadership, both in the opposition and in government, and those who are trying to campaign for power, that we must remain a democratic nation built on the rule of law and social justice. That is when we can move forward. Secondly, we must ensure that we aim to be a major industrial power. In Ethiopia now, they have an electric train. We are talking about wheelbarrows. In the neighborhood here, they have a country which has got electric trains. And if you go to their cities in Addis Ababa now, they have urban transport that you can compare with the West. And here we are being taken back on this issue of the wheelbarrow. Now, I've always said this country is the IBC. IBC. And I've said IBC is the den of corruption. Imagine countries can carry out an election with 30 million voters and within 24 hours they give you the results. But IBC, just verification of signatures. They have now taken more than 20 days. More than 20 days. And you know, one of the things that we fought for was the establishment of an integrated electronic system. Integrated, because you could do biometric voter registration. You could do electronic or biometric voter identification and electronic transmission of results. So I am surprised that just a simple exercise of voter identification, actually what they should be doing is not verification of signatures. That terminology is wrong in terms of our electoral law. It should be identification of the voters who have assigned their signatures, whether those names are in the electoral roll. It should have taken maximum a week. Maximum a week. And now you can understand why they stole our elections. They stole our elections because they were given a technology where you can be able to count and transmit results almost simultaneously. And then they told us, those servers are in France, people were sleeping in France. Machines don't sleep. And up to now, those servers, we don't know what happened to them. So I still urge my friends in the political world that we must look at what is going on in the IEBC. And the sooner we properly constitute the Electoral Commission, we are still going to have a lot of problems ahead. But now, I am not afraid to say that they are acting as if they are the agents of this new formation called UDA. There is all the evidence that they have a political objective in what they are doing at the moment.